Welcome to Mediumship Matters, the podcast dedicated to spiritual growth, connection, and the reality of working with spirit. This season is proudly sponsored by Spirit Social, the brand new online community for the spiritually curious. It's a space where you can connect, share experiences, and access exclusive content without the noise of mainstream social media. With live events, expert insights, and a supportive community, Spirit Social is the place to deepen your journey. Take part in the free 6-month trial by visiting spiritsocial.co or downloading the app from the App Store now. Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah McIntyre. And I am very excited today to be joined by special guest, Canadian medium Courtney Dawson. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Anna.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm so sorry it's taken so long to get you onto my podcast. And we were just saying before we hit record, because we interact so much online, your face is so familiar to me. I feel like I know you. It's so funny, the little bubble we live in, isn't it?
Absolutely, social media. I think that's how most of us connect with one another nowadays, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
perfect for, I think, for podcasts, because I'm sure you do for your podcast, too. You get a lot of people in your inbox.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, hey. And you've got no idea who they are. So I only have people on that I've interacted with, I've seen them, I know the cut of their jib. So welcome. Tell
Thank
everybody
you.
a little bit. I know you do a lot, you're like me, about what
Yeah.
you do.
I wear a lot of hats. So I'm an ordained spiritualist minister. I serve many spiritualist churches locally and also online. And I love that. It's one of the ways that I give back. I don't take a penny from any of the work that I do. I'm also a psychic medium and a mediumship teacher. Teaching is really my love, really guiding and supporting the next wave of ethical, evidential mediums. It's my heart and soul. And I'm also a host of my podcast, The Connected Spirit, that's available on all streaming platforms. And at the end of the day, I am just a woman who has had this connection to the spirit world her whole life and has just really decided that this is where I'm meant to be, being of service and showing the light and really the love and the truth of spirit.
I love it. So you said it started young. Tell us that. How did you
Yeah.
get involved in this crazy world?
Well, I don't know if I got involved in it. I think it's always just been there. It's not necessarily been like conscious. So I was raised in a Christian home. Parents were elders in the church, and there was very strict doctrine about what the afterlife would look like. There's God, angels, and then there's some other stuff. And for myself, I've been aware of spirit since I was a child, maybe 1, 2 years old, which is so interesting. People go, "How do you remember that when you don't remember last week?" Honey, if you've had a spiritual encounter, it's like it imprints in your memory. It's easy to recall that. But I was having spirit children come into my room, hide behind my bed, come out, play, interact with them. And I didn't actually know that these were spirit people, Hannah, because I was seeing them objectively. So I was seeing them just like how I see you. They weren't misty or translucent, and there was no indication that these were souls that were actually departed. The only thing that ever caused me a little bit of scare was that I would see them and then they would vanish. And my mom and I were recently talking about, she's like, "Courtney, when we lived in this big brown house, you came running down the stairs. Mom, what happened to the boy and girl?" And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, what kids are in the house? I didn't see nobody come in." She checked my whole room. There was nobody there. And there was just all of these encounters. And honestly, when I was a teenager, it was too much. It caused me a lot of anxiety. When I was a teenager, I'm 45, proud to share it, but there was no internet. And I didn't have the language or the resources that people have today. So I didn't know the word medium, psychic, intuitive. I didn't know that there were stores like metaphysical stores that could support you, maybe give you some, like a place to start. I had zero zip. So I ended up just shutting it down the best I could, though my psychic abilities was always on fire. It was activated. And I think that's why sometimes too, when I was a teenager, Hannah, I always kept my social circle pretty small. I mean, I was picking up stuff. I was overwhelmed by people's emotions and just didn't understand it. then fast forward, I went through a divorce at 30, and it was really the catalyst. And all of these abilities that I kind of shut off or threw in the closet, they came online. I'm like, I need to do something about this. And a friend of mine knew a Reiki master. She's like, you should just go for a Reiki session. I didn't know what that was, but it was wild. It just really brought these abilities even closer to the surface. There was more clarity. And then those spiritual experiences I was having with spirit when I was younger, even into like my early mid teens, even though I was trying to suppress it, it was there, but I didn't have the nervousness. I was like, okay, there's people that are saying, hey, this is kind of what's going on, don't worry about it. You just need someone to explain it to you. And then through a series of synchronistic events that were definitely spirit inspired, I was the reluctant medium. I ended up going to a demonstration of mediumship at a local spiritualist church. And I ended up having this wild experience. I'm standing outside waiting for my girlfriend to show up to get her tickets. And I saw this lady and her daughter walking across the parking lot over to the front of the church. And I saw this spirit man with her. He starts talking to me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening. Not today, guys, not today. Well, he's like, "That's my daughter, that's my granddaughter. I need you to give a message." I I panicked. I'm texting my girlfriend, "Where are you? Like, get your ass here. Like, something's going down." So she shows up. I said, "You just need to stay by me." So he follows them in. The spirit person follows his daughter and granddaughter in. They sit like 2 rows in front of us. And I'm sitting there. I've never seen a medium work. I don't know what to expect. There was a medium who was also a spirit artist, but how she worked was really cool. Like a week before the session, she would connect to spirit and she would do portraits. And then she had them all lined up when we got to the demonstration. And anyway, she would end up giving a message and the portrait would match. It was wild. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is trippy. This is like some TV stuff. She was amazing. And then I started thinking I was hallucinating because I was seeing these objective spirit people coming out of the wall behind her. And turns out there was a portal behind the platform
Oh
and
my
a
god.
doorway, if you will. And I'm closing my eyes. I'm checking my water bottle, thinking, did somebody spike me? Now I know that sounds extreme, but I was like, "There's no way I'm seeing this." And my girlfriend's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Dude, you have no idea. I don't know. I don't think so." And I looked, no, the cap's still on my water bottle. And these people kept coming up and they matched the portraits. It was wild. And then this guy says to me, this spirit guy, he's like, "I still need you to give the message." And I'm sending him the thought, just leave me alone, please. You're scaring me. Like, I don't even know what a message was, honestly, until that evening.
Mhm.
And so we're getting up to leave. The demonstration was brilliant. And he's like, please, please. I said, look, if they cross the street, I'll do it. Well, they started to cross the street with us. And I said, no, only if they park beside me. I kid you not, God is my witness, Hannah. The woman had the same car as me, same color, and her little key fob went beep, beep, and the lights went on. I'm like, this is wild. And I did a parking lot reading, which anybody who's listening, please don't do that. Get some training, be disciplined. Okay. We don't
Yeah.
go up to random people. We don't do that. That's
I
not
think that
ethical.
was an exceptional circumstance, though.
Oh, honey, it was wild. And I just was compelled. And I said to her, hi, I am so sorry to bother you, but did you come here to talk to, like, get a message from your dad? And she said, yeah. And I said, but you didn't. She goes, no. I said, honey, I got to tell you something. Your dad has been with me all night and wanted me to give a message. Are you okay if I share this? She's like, what does he want to say? I said, I don't know. And then I heard him say, tell her to go back. That one portrait that wasn't picked up is me. So the granddaughter stayed. Mom went back into the church. It was her dad. I'm getting chills when I think about it. So I end up giving the message, and I didn't even know what a message looked like. I just was hearing clairaudiently. So I just gave what I heard. And the tears come. It was exactly what they needed. And then it was one of those, "Ah," the clouds part. And I knew why I'd had all these experiences. It was like I knew why I was put here in the earth. And it just brings so much peace and clarity. So then I come home, my husband's sleeping, and I'm waking him up. You won't believe this. You won't believe this. He's what are you talking about? I said, I just gave a message. He didn't know what that was. So we had a convo, and long story short, he is my biggest supporter. I couldn't do this without him.
I love that. What a story. Oh my God. So, questions I have
Yeah.
straight away, because I always have
Yeah.
questions. Between you seeing spirit children who suddenly disappeared
Yeah.
and seeing that gentleman, had you seen spirits in between, or had it
Yeah.
been kind of turned? You had.
I had, but I wasn't focusing on them. And I'll say it wasn't as frequent as what it normally had been. So I would see not always the objective clairvoyance with people, like spirit people,
Yeah.
but I would see shadow figures. Now, some people go, shadow figures are bad. I don't think so. I think sometimes it's just the clairvoyance isn't developed or turned on, if you will, like you're attuned to the spirit. But I always had this awareness, and I just kind of shut it out as much as I could. Now, yes, we can kind of turn down the sensitivity on our awareness, but I don't think we can actually ever turn it off per se. We can say to spirit, hey, you know what? Like my recent health thing, I just said, spirit, you know what? I need to take a step back. I I can't be doing readings right now. And they said, we know. We know.
Mhm.
And they did. So they weren't as close as what I typically feel them, but when there was a need, obviously recently, they're there. But yeah, it would show up, but not as frequent. And even now, I'm kind of like, when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm not. I don't want to just be so far in the spirit world that I'm useless as a human. I know that's
Yeah.
kind of blunt, but it's like you can't just be so love and light and connected to spirit and be absent from your human experience, because I truly believe that's the reason why we're here, outside of
Agreed.
just being a medium, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Because if we wanted to be in spirit, we'd be in spirit. We
Definitely.
wouldn't have come here.
Yeah.
Like that would solve the
Yeah.
problem, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And so now, do you still see spirit like that, or has it changed for you as your mediumship's evolved?
I don't see them as objectively as I used to. I'll say it's definitely less. I really work with the clairsentience and the clairaudience. Like strongly, those would be my top two. And it's all dependent. Like if I'm in a communication, I don't focus on one particular clair. Spirit, you can just bring through however you want to bring through information. And I've worked on different clairs, but I find that depending on what spirit wants to bring through, it's activated. Maybe it's the clairgustance, right? Or the claircognizance. But the clairsentience, if I had to pick out of any of the clairs, that would be the one every day of the week, because you can get everything. You can get
Yeah.
emotion, you can get evidence. I mean, it's brilliant. I love it.
I love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
that's really interesting because when I had Gordon Smith, who I don't know if you've heard of, he's very
Yeah.
famous. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. When I had him on
Mhm.
the podcast, he was saying, I said to him, do you still see them? And he went, oh, no, they've done that bit. Once they've done that bit, you have to go to them. They're not going to keep coming to you all the time. And I just wondered how that had manifested for you, because it's bloody annoying, Courtney. Wouldn't it be lovely if when you were really nervous and you were walking out on stage to do a dem, wouldn't it be really lovely to be like, I can see them all. They're all here, done,
Yeah.
rather than just going, Please be there. I hope you are," and having to move into your feelings and your knowings and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Fun
Absolutely.
times, go team. Okay, so I'm really with you. I'm in this car park. I can see it. I can feel it. You go home, you tell your husband, life changes, but then what the hell do you do next? Like, what did you do with that?
So it was floodgates opened, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know
Yeah.
what this means. So I could barely sleep that night. And I woke up the next day, and I was supposed to go to a girlfriend's wedding shower. I was one of her bridesmaids. And these spirit people are just everywhere. They're talking. I'm having to write down messages. And I'm like, this is too much. Like, what's up? And I'm writing down the message. And so there was a girl there. This lady told me, I need you to give a message to my daughter. Again, undisciplined medium. And no shame in it. I can admit it. And so I said to her, would it be okay if I gave you a message? She's like, what do you mean a message? I said, would you understand your mom in the spirit? She goes, yeah. And I wrote down, pardon me, I read what I wrote down. And it hit her so hard. She's like, "Can you just stop?" I said, "Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Okay." And I knew that there had to be more to this. I needed to get more understanding. So Thursday night was the big epiphany moment. Sunday, I was at that spiritualist church before it even opened. I'm like, you all got to help me out. So this one minister, she's like, "Come on in, honey. Come on in. We'll have a talk." And she's like, "Girl, you are wide open. You need to ground. You need to close yourself down. And we need to have a little chat about this." I said, "Okay." And she got me settled. I felt okay. And she gave me just a couple of tidbits. I ended up meeting the senior minister. And when she saw me, she said the spirit world said to her, "That's going to be your next student minister." I didn't know what any of that meant. And long story short, I ended up getting ordained. And I went on a wait list to get in her development circle. It was full. And through spirit's intervention, I'm going to call it intervention because I needed some help, something
Yeah.
fierce. And she ends up calling me and saying a spot opened up. So I started sitting in circle and I sat for 7 years. And it was so good because, like, lots of that fear that I had from growing up in a religious home through the doctrine, all of that, that cleared, and I was having real experiences with the spirit world. I was with people who were like, "Hey, this is normal. This is my experience." And it gave me a lot of validation and just a lot of clarity about where the direction of my path was going. And my husband didn't understand any of it, but he goes, "If this is what you need to do, do it." Right. And he's still that way today.
I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
did you find that when you were trying to do it, your experience of spirit changed? Because I find that in the trying, if a spirit approached me, which is very rare, like you say, very, very rare, and it's undeniable. It's happened 5 times to me in 15 years where spirit
Yeah.
have been like that man in the
Yeah.
audience, where they have been like, "Do it." And you're like, "No." And they're like, "Do it." It's not like it is on TikTok. But
No.
when you actually try to do it, because there's so much or so little surrender in that, it's a very different experience for me. How was that for you?
I think that when I started trying, they really showed me the potential. So I was having some really profound experiences. And I kind of equate it to like dangling the carrot. This is the potential there, Courtney. But now are you committed? Now are you going to start to surrender and begin to trust that this is part of your path? And we're included in that, in this work. And once I did that, then of course you start to notice things don't always come in as clear and doubt can kind of creep in. And I mean, this is why I really believe people that are developing their mediumship. I always say I'm a lifelong developer,
So,
right? And having a mentor is so critical because when you have questions, you need somebody who you feel like you can trust to say, "This is normal," or "Try this." And my mentor was just amazing. She really, really was. And that really helped me through many of those moments where I wanted to throw in the towel. And that was probably like every 4 months.
yeah.
I was like, "I can't do this. This is so hard." But it wasn't just the connecting to the spirit part that was challenging at times. It was the personal development that went alongside it, the inner healing, the shit that you have to heal, the stuff that you've been trying to block, the stuff that you're trying to deny. I mean, I'll be honest, I had some bad behaviors and I had a bad attitude, I think. Not all of it, but there were some bad attitudes and my mouth went a little flippant. And I mean, I'm still trying to wrangle that sucker, right?
Oh, well, don't
But
lose you in it. Don't lose you.
oh,
We
honey,
like
no,
you.
I'm not. Yeah. I don't think you contain me too much, but there's a different tonality, there's a different
Yeah.
frequency behind it, right? And that was probably like one of the hardest things. But what I found is the more that I really leaned into that love, that unconditional love that the spirit world brings, it made for a smoother ride. And I had a lot of personal stuff that was going on too, lots of big inner healing, lots of messy family dynamics, and I'm pretty transparent. I don't claim to have it all together, but I went through a really messy divorce. And for a few years, my kids went and lived with their dad, right? I was the strict mom and he wasn't the strict parent. And those were some of the darkest moments in my life. And in this office, I was on my floor praying to God, to somebody to come help me and sort this out with my kids because it felt like I was grieving for those that were still living. It was horrible, the worst time of my life. And the spirit world came in, and I could feel them hugging me and embracing me, giving me visions. I mean, particularly of my son playing football. And at that time, I didn't know he was playing football for his uniform. And I got to see this. And they would give me little bits of support and guidance, but those little bits were so impactful. Like, I couldn't do life without spirit. And I mean, I have 1,000 stories that just validate outside of the work that we do as mediums together, or like, I say mediums, but as what we do together, spirit and my team, we we have this incredible bond where it does become a lifestyle. It's not something you do. It really is who you are. And I mean, my life is better for it, hands down.
I love that. I love that. Completely understand everything you're saying. So I know with you, ethics, integrity, big
Mm.
part of your teaching, the way, the things that are important to you. And obviously you've mentioned in our chat here about, undeveloped mediums and things like that. Talk us through that, why you think that's so important, what you think is missing in the industry at the moment.
So, ethical mediumship is something that I've just been talking about the last couple of years because I really feel like there's a lack of it. And I don't say this, I guess I do say it from a place of judgment. And it's not that I'm better than anybody else. So I want to like make that really, really clear. But I truly, truly believe within every fiber of my soul that mediumship is about evidence of soul survival, period. It is not about asking them what you should or shouldn't do with your life. Honey, you've got free will. You have intuition. Like, if your dad, for instance, my dad passed a year ago, he was not good with money. Do you think I'm going to ask my dad now that he's in spirit for financial advice? Wrong. Right? Like, we have to bring in some common sense in our psychic senses. I really think we do. But there is there's different flavors that people bring to mediumship. Perfect. But I see that there is a lot of unethical practices, and I just want to touch on them because some people don't understand what those are. So the first thing is they're not bringing through evidence of soul survival. If you're not able to provide your client or your practice partner with evidence that leaves certainty about who the spirit communicator is, you need to develop more. Sorry, not sorry. Because we need to remove doubt. We need to bring in certainty. That way people know that their loved one's soul still continues to exist, but yet
Mhm.
is still present with them and nothing's going to break that. We also, I believe, through bringing through the evidence of soul survival, we're inspiring the living. When they realize there's no fear, like they have no fear on the other side, we can embody that same aspect here in the physical world. And I see this with people countless times where they start having more confidence in themselves, realizing they can't die for the life of them. Cool.
Yeah.
Number two, they realize that, okay, nothing that happens here in the physical world is going to take away who I am. And I get to be who I want to be on the other side as well. They start having more confidence in themselves. They start looking at their relationships differently. They quit the job that they hate and they start doing what they love, right?
Yeah.
It it shifts the perspective of our lived experience, our human experience. So this is why I think mediumship is really important. But then number two, I see a lot of people that are dressing up psychic language and slapping a mediumship sticker on it. Okay? So, who's the grandmother who had the heart issue? Or how do you connect with the woman who smoked? Well, if someone said that to me, I'd start laughing because I've got like a dozen, right?
Yeah.
And I see that. That's not good
Yes.
enough. I don't believe it's good enough because we're the PR for the spirit world. And there's a big responsibility that comes with that, right? So, some other unethical practices is we have mediums that are asking the recipients for information to fill in the blanks. Totally unethical. We, as recipients, should not be feeding the medium information. And if the medium can't get the information, they shouldn't be doing the reading, doing the work. They need to sort out what the reason why behind that is, and then get back to it. But then also too, I see a lot of stuff, social media. I love it and I don't at the
Yeah.
same time. Drives me nuts. right? But there's people that are showing all of these different practices in order to connect to spirit. You have to and now I know I might get some flack, but that's okay. I'm used to it. So there's all these different practices that people are told they have to do in order to connect with spirit. You got to get the crystals, you got to get the tarot cards, you have to have the pendulum, the runes, the oils, the candles, the incense. FYI, I've done all of those too, by the way. So, okay, just saying.
Yeah.
But I find all of these different practices and modalities that are being portrayed on social media, this is what a medium does, actually isn't what a medium needs to do. And it creates a huge, massive disconnect on number one, developing mediums. They think they have to do X, Y, and Z in order to connect to the spirit. And the only spirit that they have to start with is learning to connect with themselves. That's it. And
Right.
then you work connecting with the spirit, right? And the spiritual community, I think, is creating a lot of codependent people, codependent
Yes.
on modalities, codependency on gurus and mentors. And it's taking away the the freedom that spirit wants to offer us through their communication. That irritates me every day of the week.
Yeah.
And then another unethical practice that just adds to my white and silver hair is when mediums are giving predictions in their readings that are bringing through really negative information, whether that be spirits or disasters and, divorces and all these bad things are going to happen. I'm going to tell you something right now. I've done thousands of readings. So for people who are listening, I have a little bit of experience, so it might be worth hearing. Is that out of the readings that I've done, the spirit world has never brought through information that has ever scared their loved one, instilled fear, is giving them bad news. If anything that spirit may see kind of coming up, they're always going to say or provide information that is going to support, to comfort, and to guide, like
Yeah.
really to empower their loved
Yeah.
one. So I mean, I've kind of touched on like the recipients and then for the developing mediums, there's just a lot of trash out there. And it really is, it's a lot of garbage. And I think that more mediums who are feeling called to do this work, do your due diligence in taking the time to develop how you're developing, but also how you're presenting yourself online. Just because you have a series of modalities that you do, maybe take a look and examine your belief systems, why you do them, number one. And if it resonates with you, cool. But to then say that other people have to do that in order to connect to the spirit world is so disempowering. Because, honey, back in the day, there wasn't all that stuff,
Hmm.
right? Maybe there was different versions of it, but a lot of those people, I mean, if I want to go back to biblical times, because I grew up in a Christian church and I still do Bible study with respect to mediumship. I find it fascinating. Um, the biggest connection that they had was that heart connection, right? And even if we look at some of the most amazing mediums, if we look at Gordon Higginson, right? His mom was pretty cool. She was training him since he was a little kid. If we look at Estelle Roberts, um, I mean, all of these really cool mediums, you know what they had? They had the spirit world.
Yeah.
They brought through evidence like the advent of modern spiritualism, which happened March 31st, 1848. Those pioneers, there wasn't the books, there wasn't the online forum where people could scroll and pick up little tidbits and make it fit for how it felt comfortable for them. They just trusted spirit. And I think we need to get back to that naturalness of mediumship.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I'm going to have to fully disclose, I know we were talking before we went live, but one of the people that's the information about fraud that's come in with me this year has been Gordon.
Are you
And all
serious?
my listeners, as soon as they hear you say, you can see from my body language, I start going, oh no, any name. Yeah,
No.
I know. Mm, I know because he
Really?
was a hero of mine too.
Oh my God, really?
So I just wanted to say, because otherwise everyone will say, what a chicken shit you were, McIntyre, because you didn't say anything to Courtney. But
Thank you for saying that.
somebody sent me a load of documents that were signed by different members of the SNU,
Wow.
because Gordon used to like to spend an hour in the records office of every church he worked in before he died. Yeah, and also famously said on stage an address that was a typo in the phone book. He said the typo.
What
I know.
the hell? Oh my God. Shit. So
Make your
you know
own mind
what?
up.
Okay, that is wild because when I went to AFC twice, I was in the Gordon Higginson library. And I mean, they've got a fat portrait of him, and he's like
He's like
one of their,
Jesus. He's like
he
Jesus in
is.
the church, beaming down on you with his kind eyes. I've seen the picture. I've been in the room. Yeah.
Okay, so isn't that wild? Because I mean, I've never seen him in person because I think he died in the 80s. Um, I mean, I've seen his YouTube stuff where he's doing trance and he's walking around the library. What? Oh,
I mean, I'm not
shit.
saying, I mean, just make up your own mind. Sorry to do this to you on the podcast.
No, that is totally okay. I'm just like, you know what? Wow. Wow. Isn't it interesting? The truth always has a way of coming out.
Well, this was one of, I said to you before we went
Wild.
live, I've had a bit of a year. And then you went, well, I've
Mhm.
had a bit of a year. And we were comparing year notes.
Yes.
And I said to you, there's been all this stuff. And every time I've gone to record a podcast, I've been like, and here's another problem I found. That was a massive one for me because, the first time I went to AFC, that, the teacher pointed at the picture of him and
Yeah.
said, this is the pinnacle of what you should be trying to achieve in your mediumship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it never occurred to me to research it, to look into it. And if you just Google, there's so much out there just on Google. But it had never occurred to me to check or look. I know.
Okay. Is there an episode on this on your show?
I've kind of alluded to it in spaces. I can't remember what I've said, but I've definitely talked about it because it
Okay.
rocked me.
Okay. So this is the unfolding of the SNU. It's the unfolding of the SNU. I actually didn't renew my membership a couple years ago.
Me neither.
I couldn't do it. And I really wanted to support spiritualism because it's changed my life.
Yeah.
But if they knowingly are still promoting frauds, well, interestingly enough, and I'm not going to say who the individual is, but there was a physical medium who taught at the Arthur Findlay College and was apparently caught for fraudulence
Watch the
with full.
videos of them too. Have you seen the videos of them with their
No,
top off,
no.
wafting their shirt around to make a breeze? Someone
Oh my
filmed them.
God.
If it's the same one we're thinking of. Yeah, this has been my year.
Oh my
I said
God,
to you, the
Hannah.
tower of the industry.
No shit.
Anyway, let's just put a pin in that because we're here to talk
Yeah.
about you. And my listeners will go, oh my God, Courtney, don't set Hannah off again. We're so bored with it. Anything but fraud talk. But yes.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And also too, just a couple other things I should probably check in or throw in there as we're talking about frauds. A medium, an ethical medium, should not be gathering any information about the recipient prior to the communication.
Agreed.
Period.
In fact, I'd
Be
rather not know anything because anything I do know then just gets in the way because I'm trying to avoid it.
100%. Yeah. Like, give me a fake name. I don't care. I'm good.
Happy with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Wild.
Right. You. Wonderful you. So sorry, Courtney. I had to say something because I was
I'm
like, I don't
so
want
glad
to.
you did. Yeah. I'm so glad you did. This is good.
Okay. Now you are, like we've discussed, a busy girl, and you have so many different things on. And I know teaching is a big thing for you. Let's
Mhm.
talk about, you've got some really great offerings coming up for the festive season for the rest of this year. Let's shine a little light on those. Tell us about them.
So, November 22nd, I'm going to be hosting my sixth annual Bringing Heaven Home for Christmas. This is an event that was inspired by the spirit world 6 years ago. And it's an opportunity for people to not only witness mediumship, evidential mediumship, but to also receive a message from their loved one. And what is powerful about this, as we know, as the veil thins at this time of year, a lot of people can feel the closeness of the other world, but it can also intensify those feelings of grief, whether that grief is fresh or maybe you're longing to feel that closeness with someone who's passed even decades ago. This is an opportunity to have a communication from the other world and to really bridge those two worlds and to really provide you with peace and healing through the presence of spirit. And that's in a beautiful, incredible event that sells out every year. So tickets are available at mediumcourtneydawson.com events. And then my next event is Christmas Connection. So this is a 60-minute guided meditation journey followed by Q&A where people are going to be led through an experience that will give them the opportunity to feel the presence of their loved one outside of communication. So that may be through thoughts, that may be through feelings, but having more of a visceral experience. And people love that. So we're hosting that again. And that is available tickets for at mediumcourtneydawson.com/events. We love it.
Love it.
Christmas is a beautiful time, right? Everybody find, not everybody, but a lot of people find that the holidays just really trigger grief and the
Yeah.
loss of loved ones. So want to be able to make these events affordable for people, but also provide them something of value and healing too at this time of year.
Yeah, that's so lovely. I think that when I first uh, did my first year of doing evidential readings and with the public, and I opened up for December, like "Ah, la 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 la," and then just had people in such desperate. I sold out for
Yeah.
December before I sold out October or November, and I was like, "This is weird. It's going to be festive," said naive little Hannah, skipping along, and then it was just people in in the worst time of year, just really in desperate need. So this is just such a
Yeah.
wonderful thing to offer people, to just give them. Also, I think, that second one as well is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to watch evidential mediumship. I might rock up to yours, you'll be like, oh, bog off, Hannah. But um to feel that for yourself is
Mhm.
really important, I think, for people, isn't it? To know that they can do it too, that spirit are there for them and not just for us. That sounds like a wonderful gift. I love it.
Absolutely. Mediumship is for everybody, and everybody has the potential to be able
Yeah.
to feel their loved ones. And I want to make that accessible to people because there is healing. Mediumship is all about healing, and outside of evidence of soul survival, it is about healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you've got this global practice, you do so much work, you've got students, you've got clients, you're doing all of this stuff. How do you unwind? What do you do for you? Do you
I go to
unwind?
Maui. I go to Maui.
That too.
Yeah, we just got back from Maui a week ago and we love it. So I have all of my emails, podcasts, social media content scheduled. I pop in the mornings to do my IG story. So that's about 15 minutes a day, maybe. And that's about it. And I just unplug and I really need that. But another thing I love to do is, I know it sounds simple and boring, but it really grounds me, is I walk my dog. We live in a condo, so I walk 4 times a day. And I love it, just being out in the fresh air, going for a walk, being out in nature, because we have some incredible walking trails around here, is something I do for me. And I'm getting back into exercise, which is good. I'm seeing a physiotherapist and trying to get my body back in shape. And also too, just like for me, I need a lot of downtime. I find, not just being a medium, but an empath, if I do a lot of work, I just get drained and I need to refill. So I'm usually with a cup of tea, like I have right now, and I have a book and I chill and I just kind of go inward. And I mean, it's really simple, but we love the trips. We're actually planning our next trip to Nashville. So excited.
Oh my goodness, amazing. Yeah, if you're like
Yeah.
me and my husband, we go on holiday and then we'll book more holidays while we're on holiday because we've got
Yeah.
time to think about holidays.
Yeah.
It's the best way to live. Good. So, I've got a quick fire round, if that's okay, and then
Yeah.
one last question to wrap up, and then I will set you free.
Yeah.
What is one word that you want clients to feel at the end of a session?
Peace.
Peace. Now, I know you've talked about this, but what is your earliest memory of a spirit sign or intuitive nudge that you had?
I was on a swing when I was 2 years old, and my mom was pushing me on the swing, and there was a spirit person in her garden picking carrots.
I love it. Okay. Um, Morning person, night soul.
Night.
Night. Okay. One phrase you tell your students again and again.
This isn't about you.
Feels like it. That's what I always say. It feels like it, but it isn't. Um, if you weren't a medium or a teacher, what do you think you'd be doing?
A lawyer.
A lawyer. Oh, I love it. That's why you're so ethical. You'd be on there working for free to get all the cases through, wouldn't you? Yeah. um, Fun facts about you people may not know.
Fun fact. Oh
You
gosh.
know it's hard.
Um, keep it G rated. I'm joking. I'm joking. Fun fact about me. I've never even thought about that. That's like, you've got me stumped.
I know. Do you know? One of my friends did a takeover on this podcast and asked me what else there is in my life other than mediumship, and I think I went food because I'm literally mediumship is everything. Do I have a personality? Who am I? So don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Fun fact. I don't know if it's fun, but it's my fun. I'm a midnight shopper on Temu, and I have an obscene amount of Temu pajamas.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. And you always look so glamorous. Right. Obviously you've got your own podcast, but one book or podcast you'd recommend to someone just starting their journey.
Well, definitely your podcast is a really good one because it's grounded. Another one would be Medium in the Middle. I think you're both ethical people, very grounded and spirit led. So that's a must. I'm going to reframe one of the books that I was going to recommend after this big reveal that you gave. So that's okay. There is a book called The Ring of Chairs from Janet, and I always feel like I don't pronounce her name right, Seiford, and she's a British medium. And it was one of the books that I read in my ministry training, and it's a really good book. Yeah,
I've never heard of that book. I'm going to look it up. That sounds great.
yeah,
Oh, I
Ring
love
of
I'm so
Chairs.
excited. Um, I think that's it. Tell us what is next for you, Courtney. What do you have any inkling, or are you just feeling like a
I
twig
do.
in a river? Go on.
No, I do, but I have to keep it under wraps right now. We're in the development stage process, but the Connected Spirit School has something that we are working on to support more people. So this year I'm running 3 mediumship circles. It's a lot and I love it to bits, but there's just this growing demand from our people that are wanting a safe community to connect with outside of some of the online noise that we see. So we are working on something that will meet that need. And that's all I can say right now. That way we can serve more people.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It's been so lovely to spend this time with you. It went
Thank
way too
you.
quickly.
Thank you so much. What an honor.